This was the third trip I organized on Mt Shasta via Clear Creek, as well as my third attempt via this route. The first attempt, which took place about 6 weeks before this trip, was simple due to perfect conditions. The weather was nice and no snow present. The main requirement for reaching the summit was just endurance and determination. The second attempt, on the other hand, was completely different. The snowstorm dumped a few feet of snow, and the upper half of the mountain required crampons, ice axe, and some skills to navigate safely. Just 2 people made the summit. This time the conditions were somewhat in between, which made assessing the safer route above the Red Rock more difficult.
You made it! Now we have to think how we're gonna get down.
Made it to the top.
That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was totally worth it.
Yep. I didn't look down the entire way on the snow patch.
I'm not sure what happened to these 2 people. They were following us. So getting ready for the hike.
Almost.
Last moment preparation.
Yes.
There will be 6 of us, 2 already left. There are some, I don't know if I can see you in the camera. Hey! It's almost, what time is it? It's probably 4 something.
4:30 probably.
4:26.
Alright, last moment registration. And
Today's the 19th, right?
yep. Paying the duty. Alright. So we are having first break
5 pounds.
after 90 minutes walk.
Oh my god. Oh, speed off. That's like a camera. Once you stop, you get cold with that. Yeah.
Can you have some water?
We arrive at the Clear Creek Springs still at dark, but you can hear the water stream. Above the springs, the trail gets a bit steeper, but for now it's still well defined and easy to follow. The color of the sunrise light still illuminates the mountain with the orange glow. The view like this alone makes it worth being here. It is 7:30 and we are taking another break. This monster peak is a good indicator of climbers' progress, and we are just slowly passing it. But the trail becomes less defined and more difficult to walk. People are taking different trails, hoping that it may be easier to walk. However, the impact of the high altitude starts affecting everyone and forcing to stop more frequently. The view here is just gorgeous.
People started separating. There are 4 of us.
Elevation.
This may be Peter or Vivek. They left 2 hours before us.
At places, the trail becomes barely visible, and walking on these loose rocks takes much more energy, slowing people down. Even though it feels like walking this trail takes forever, it is still easier than during the couple of weeks ago attempt. It is much warmer, and so far no snow present.
Alright, we are at Red Rock.
Are we going to be in the movies, Mark?
Sure, of course. On YouTube.
Television?
On YouTube.
Or on the big screen.
So,
On YouTube, big screen. HD, full HD.
Mac, do we go up the snow from here, or
We
do we go up
deserve,
the rocks?
for what we did here, we deserve the big screen. Maybe.
Yeah,
IMAX. Okay?
okay. No problem. There are still people coming up.
The Red Rock is the last reasonably safe place on this route, at least in the current conditions.
So what time is it now?
12:09.
So
Do we go up the snow, or do we go up the rocks here?
maybe we should turn back.
This spot may be an illusion that the summit is around the corner, but unfortunately it isn't. Based on my previous attempt experience, to minimize possible risk, I decided to take the traverse around the big boulders. However, I strongly recommend it to those who had doubts in their self-arrest skills, especially on icy slopes, to turn around. I also stressed, if going up at any point doesn't feel comfortable, it is better to turn around, because climbing down this sketchy slope may be much more risky. Sometimes this icy snowy layer is quite thin and fragile, and an ice axe may not penetrate enough to stop the potential fall. The wind doesn't make climbing any easier. The scree is not only difficult to walk at this altitude, but very frustrating. But the summit this time is just around the corner. They work very hard, but don't complain. And walking on these loose rocks, especially with crampons, is not an easy task. And are very determined to reach the summit, and keep struggling with the altitude.
Where are you taking us, Mary?
And finally, we are approaching hot springs. From now on, we have only a couple hundred feet more to the summit. And finally, the well-deserved summit.
Welcome to the summit, man! Yeah! You made it!
Barely.
But you made it! Now we have to think how we're gonna get down.
That'll be the hard part.
Especially for the steep slopes. Okay? Yeah! Rebecca, now it's your turn. Okay, just don't break it. All right.
Made it to the top.
That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was totally worth it.
Yep. I didn't look down the entire way on the snow patch.
We couldn't have done it without you, Merrick.
Oh man, you did it by yourself. What did I do? I didn't drag you up.
You just encouraged us the whole way.
I just show you the way, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
But
like
it
it.
was worth it, definitely.
Yeah, and you signed in this register.
Yep,
So we're all there.
it's official.
I'm not sure what happened to these two people. They were following us, even though I told them not to.
Well, hopefully they went home.
Hopefully they safely
Or
descended.
they had a lunch and went home.
You know, it's funny because this is the next time I brought two people to the summit. Only two.
Yeah, that's the magic number.
Yeah.
Setting a tradition.
Yeah, okay, let's go down now.
Okay, it's
Sounds good.
4:10. Time to descend.
Yeah.
Drink some beers.
Drink some beers. There is
And I brought.
this time there is more beer waiting for us than the previous time.
I have chocolate chip mint cookies.
All right.
To minimize the risk on the way down, unlike the previous time, I decided to descend through the big boulders. Because on the way up I noticed most of the snow at that elevation was already gone, and managed to navigate in between rocks practically without stepping on any snow, which definitely was much safer than traversing the icy slope with a long exposure.
Almost at Red Rocks. I think at the Red Rocks already. A few more steps.
We're back at the trailhead around 11 p.m. The whole trip took us again almost 19 hours, with over 1 hour spent on the summit. I know, some people might say that they did summit Shasta in 4 or 6 hours, and that's good for them. But this wasn't competition. These were regular people with no mountaineering experience. This was their dream to summit Mt Shasta, and I helped them to come their dream true, and they worked very hard for it, even though sometimes it was a quite scary experience for them. Yes, falling down the steep icy slope, no doubt, could have had tragic consequences if one failed to self-arrest properly. And playing safe was the main reason other people decided to turn around. It is always better to be safe than sorry, right? Mountaineering is suffering, but I love it.
Yeah, baby.